Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, March 31st. Another cloudy morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region, and we've had a lot of clouds over the past several days. Yesterday was kind of an unstable day, at least north of the Mason-Dixon line, as a cold frontal system passed through the region late in the day. Early last night, there were some thunderstorms in the Philadelphia metropolitan region, for example, that actually contained some hail, as colder air moved in first in the upper part of the atmosphere, making it quite unstable. The freezing levels tended to drop, and that allowed for the possibility of hail with those thunderstorms late in the afternoon, early in the evening. Again, that was primarily across southeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey. That frontal system has cleared through the region, and no doubt today will be cooler than yesterday in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City, but the clouds remain for the most part. Stubborn clouds in much of the Mid-Atlantic region. Meanwhile, there's a low-pressure area headed for the Carolina coastline. Could produce some showers, especially down across the southern Mid-Atlantic, let's say the D.C. metro region, from later today into early tonight. There certainly is reason to believe that the second half of the week will look much better, as we'll get some more sunshine, and that in turn will boost temperatures a little bit compared to, again, today's below normal levels. Well, let's start off here by taking a look at the North Atlantic Oscillation Index. We've been kind of monitoring this over the past week or two. It is now in negative territory, as seen right here. These are the actual values of the NAO right now. Just slipped from positive to negative territory, and we'll check out the forecast in a moment. It looks like it'll stay negative for maybe the next week or so. And again, we've emphasized that signals to us that there still can be some cold air outbreaks even as we get into, let's say, the middle part of the month of April. And indeed, that looks like that'll be the story. Not quite out of the woods yet for cold air outbreaks, making it from Canada into the central and eastern part of the nation. There certainly will be warmer than normal spells in between these cold air outbreaks over the next couple of weeks. And here's a forecast map of the North Atlantic Oscillation. Again, this particular teleconnection index gives us an idea of what's going on in the North Atlantic, which in turn can have an impact here in the eastern U.S. in terms of whether or not cold air outbreaks from Canada can make it all the way south into the central and eastern U.S. Just now slipping into negative territory, and again, the forecast is for it to drop even farther into negative territory and kind of hang there for several days, and then it'll maybe return to neutral levels. But the bottom line here with the NAO now in negative territory, and it looks like it'll stay there for at least the next week or so, that increases the chances for cold air outbreaks continuing into maybe the middle part of the month of April for the central and eastern U.S. Well, certainly another way to track the possibility of cold air outbreaks in the coming week or two is just to take a look at the forecast maps from, in this case, the Zero-Z GFS, the operational version of the GFS from last night. We're looking at 850 millibar temperature anomalies, and we'll just move forward over the next week to two, starting off with colder than normal conditions today in much of the Mid-Atlantic region and the Midwest. That is following that cold frontal passage late yesterday. Temperatures on Monday afternoon reached 70 degrees in D.C. area, for example, maybe near 60 in Philly. Much cooler today, the 50s probably at best in parts of the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City, again with colder than normal air mass in place, combined with lots of clouds, limiting sunshine, and will stay below normal at least through today. But again, the second half of the week looks pretty promising around here from, let's say, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe even to Sunday as well. That period especially looks pretty decent here for the Mid-Atlantic region. Let's move forward here. Here we are now just going ahead through, this is now tomorrow, still below normal temperatures as we begin the month of April here with this latest cold air outbreak. But by the latter part of the week, it kind of diminishes some. Here we are now by Thursday afternoon. Still colder than normal, hanging on, but notice warmer than normal conditions across the upper part of the Midwest, and that tends to slide to the east. Again, the colder air lingers, at least in the upper part of the atmosphere, right to the end of the week. But here is some warmer than normal conditions trying to make its way into the mid-Atlantic region, having some difficulty, but by the latter part of the weekend it indeed warms up here, and it looks like very warm conditions for this time of the year across the middle part of the nation by the early of next week. But here we go. Now, warmer than normal conditions going into maybe the latter part of the weekend, the first part of next week. But that's not the end of the cold air outbreaks. We'll see that warmer than normal kind of being suppressed to the south here by the end of next week. Another cold air outbreak for the northern U.S. and colder than normal across the western U.S. as well. Keep moving forward, and we'll see certainly colder than normal conditions. So we're not quite out of the woods yet for these cold air outbreaks. We get warmer than normal again following that. Now we're going way out here. This is now almost the middle part of the month of April, but notice right on its heels, more colder than normal air, and it looks like that moves in. So again, the NAO sliding into negative territory. Let's keep moving forward. This is a real blob of colder than normal air at the end of the forecast period. Now this is a long way out there, the middle part of April, but the bottom line here, NAO is signaling we still have some cold air outbreaks to deal with over the next couple of weeks in the central and eastern part of the U.S. Well, let's now take a look at the surface forecast maps from last night's operational run of the GFS. Still unsettled here in the northeast U.S. We just can't seem to shake these clouds. Main part of the problem here is we have an upper level trough, colder than normal air in the upper part of the atmosphere, creating some instability this time of the year, especially if the sun were to come out, which happened yesterday, at least north of the Mason-Dixon line. The sun came out briefly, followed up by those thunderstorms with some hail. Good storm today across the south central U.S. Last week we thought there was a possibility it could come all the way up into this cold air mass into the northeast U.S., but it looks like it's staying to the south. May throw some showers into the D.C. metro region later today, but it slides basically to the east to the Carolina coastline. Let's move forward here, and here we go. By this evening, slides off the Carolina coastline. Some showers could extend up into the D.C. metro region associated with that low pressure system, are some scattered showers as well just associated with that upper level trough over the northeast U.S. But the main impact of that storm will stay to the south of the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor, although again some showers are likely late today into early tonight across the D.C. metro region. That pulls off by tomorrow, and still some clouds will linger on Wednesday, maybe a shower or two, still cooler than normal. We just saw that with those 850 millibar temperature anomaly forecast maps, still cooler than normal as we begin the month of April. Basically a flow of air from the north to the south throughout the northeast U.S. Then on Thursday, things start to improve. We get all you need this time of the year is a little bit of sunshine, and temperatures should be boosted quite dramatically because the sun is increasingly strong this time of the year. And again, we begin the month of April on Wednesday here. So really it looks like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday look pretty decent. This is the Friday forecast map. Weak frontal system out across the Midwest here by Saturday. It kind of tends to weaken by the time it arrives here. And here we are Sunday morning. Still relatively rain-free conditions in the Mid-Atlantic region. So again, looks like a couple of days of plenty of clouds today and tomorrow with below normal temperatures, but then things improve in the Mid-Atlantic region for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's it for now for PerspectiveWeather.com. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.